Along the coast of Ghana, dozens of fortifications are preserved today that were constructed between the late 15th and the 18th centuries. These forts and castles were erected by different European powers and served an important role in the transatlantic slave trade. The German realm Brandenburg-Prussia was among the European powers competing for trading posts at the African coast. The Brandenburg-Prussians erected Fort Groß Friedrichsburg, as well as a few other fortifications, in the late 17th century in what is today the western region of Ghana. The Germans gave up their strongholds at the African coast already after about 35 years. However, during that time, Brandenburg-Prussian ships transported nearly 20,000 enslaved men, women and children from African shores to the Caribbean. Today, Fort Groß Friedrichsburg is a difficult part of UNESCO's World Heritage, together with the other forts and castles along the Ghanaian coast. On the one hand, it reminds us of the brutality of the transatlantic slave trade. On the other hand, it is a testimony to various kinds of interaction between Europeans and Africans in the early modern world. In 2024, a collaborative project between the University of Ghana and the German Archaeological Institute began investigating such interactions. With the permission of the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board and with funding from the German Federal Foreign Office, our project started recording histories and archaeologies of the Brandenburg-Prussian fortifications and their local communities through time. Part of the project was the creation of a full 3D model of Fort Groß Friedrichsburg, both outside and inside, from aerial and ground-based photographs. This 3D model captures the present state of preservation of the fort, with its 4 bastions and curtain walls. The fort's 2-story buildings served representational and residential functions in their upper floors. They housed the commander and officers, staff from the Brandenburg African Company, ship's crews, military and medical personnel, as well as craftspeople. The lower floors were mainly used for storage. Over time, the functions of the different buildings changed with the needs of their various occupants. Of the fort's 3 vaults, only one is preserved. Written sources from the late 17th and early 18th centuries indicate that the vaults were used for the storage of goods and materials, such as gunpowder, but also for incarceration. From the later 18th century, there is evidence that enslaved people were kept in the northern vault. When the Germans sold the fort to the Dutch in the early 18th century, a powerful local leader took over the fort, Jan Conny. He was a broker, trader and military leader who fought the Dutch and their allies and refused to hand over Groß Friedrichsburg for several years. Parts of the fort were used as building material for Jan Conny's house in the village of Pokesu at the foot of the fort. Our archaeological research is dedicated to tracing processes of construction, modification and maintenance of Jan Conny's house, as well as of the fort, which was built using local and European craftspeople as well as slave labor. In addition, we study material traces of the daily lives of the European, African and American occupants of the fort and of the people of Pokesu. This research gives some insight into the logic and logistics of the transatlantic slave trade and its various, more or less privileged agents. It supplements written sources such as reports, letters, accounts, and administrative correspondence. Our project is undertaken in close collaboration with members of the local communities. Their input helps us to better understand the many layers of this early shared heritage of Ghana and Germany.